Hey folks, welcome back to Skyward Sword. We are here in the sky, heading to the Thunderhead, because we have the ability to learn a new song, and that new song will give us the ability to take on a new trial gate, and that trial gate will give us the ability to get a new item, which will give us the ability to access new areas, which will hopefully allow us to get... oh dear. Yeah, that's what happens. And keep in mind, there's absolutely no penalty for free falling. Like, none at all. Like, I think if you manage to fall far enough, you will be warped back up. But good lord, you would have to be, like, not paying attention at all or something. But anyway, like I was saying, we are after the flames of the goddesses, basically. And, to eventually reach the goal of collecting said flames, we need to learn new songs over here at this temple inside the Thunderhead. And because it's a very, very long flight, I am attempting to fill time, because good lord, this is, as I mentioned before, probably the one time when I really do get bored and frustrated with the amount of flying that needs to be done, because I need to get there, then I also need to get back, and that's just, that's painful and boring and just terrible. I demand instant gratification, Nintendo. Anyway, worth noting that there is in fact a goddess chest in here as well. Probably easy to overlook. Hello, rupees. 300. And now, all we gotta do is get back into that temple. And follow through with the same routine with the skyward strike and the spinning and the glowing and all that good stuff. And indeedy-do, we got Nayru's wisdom, and now we're heading off to the Lanayru Desert in order to find another trial gate. It's a little weird that they're doing things out of order. We originally went Faron, Eldin, and then Lanayru, but now we're going to Lanayru before Eldin. Why are they doing that? I don't know. I mean, it shakes things up a little bit, but at the same time, we were kind of just here. Like, we might want some time to cool off from it. I don't know. But anywho, fly on over. Hey, birdies. Oh, I'm sorry about that. That was not intentional. But anyway, as you might assume, the trial gate is in the large, open expanse of desert that everything seems to be located in for Lanayru. So, be sure to drop into that area of sorts. I recommend near the generator. Yeah, probably, yeah, North Desert, I believe, is the name of the location. Yep, that'll work. And if we whip out our if we whip out Fee, I've noticed that we've landed, actually, yes. This is actually what I'm about to explain, Fee. Yes, whip out the dowsing powers, and we'll find that the trial gate is in fact right over there. Nice and easy. And of course we do the exact same minigame as the last one. I don't even know if the speed is different, the tempo. But really, exactly the same thing. Good lord. And it's time for another Silent Realm. I know that you were just all thrilled by the last one, so why not ruin a good thing? Tumbleweed. Just get the tumbleweed, buddy. Tumbleweed. Tumbleweed. And we are here in Nayru's Silent Realm, and interestingly enough, it's exactly the same mechanic as the last one, and this is, again, a point of contention for a lot of people. A lot of people believe that since Din, Nayru, and Faror represent power, wisdom, and courage, the trials should be different depending on which one you're exercising. Like, the last one was sort of appropriate because you were showing courage by venturing into the unknown, into dangerous territory. You could almost possibly construe this as being wisdom, because you have to, like, plan a route and be smart about which ones you're grabbing. But there's nothing about power in Din's, so a lot of people take issue with it. They would rather have original kind of trials for each one. And while I understand that, I am perfectly okay with Silent Realms as they are. I think they work just fine, and they're a somewhat interesting way of retreading old ground. Although having more of a puzzle aspect would not have been a bad idea. Anyway, Lanayru Desert, I would say, is a trickier area to navigate compared to Faron Woods. As you'll recall, there is all that sand getting up in your way, and overall a lot more kind of confusing terrain, elevation changes, dangerous things, and I think it is overall bigger. On the other hand, you do have this wonderful view up top that allows you to see many things. And for the most part, you can again go around in a circle in order to figure things out. Right, don't take damage in here. You can go around in a circle to collect everything, since it is very much laid out in a circular manner. Anywho, you will on occasion run into issues with those searchlight dudes, because often you'll be trapped on these narrow kind of corridors. I don't know, passages, raised elevation locations. And they will be patrolled by those searchlight dudes. And the searchlight dudes, you'll not really have as much room to avoid them, since you are in a narrow path. So it does kind of come into a test of patience and pattern recognition, like Baby's first Metal Gear Solid. Seeing how the guards patrol, and then making your move when they will have their backs turned. Overall, I would say it's less stressful than basically any other stealth section in Zelda games. Like, I'm thinking primarily of the Hyrule Castle infiltration in Ocarina of Time, and then the Deku Palace infiltration in Majora's Mask. Those I felt were more stressful, because you screw up, you're caught immediately. Whereas here, you can get caught and then run the hell away, and you'll still be okay. I don't know, I just never felt quite as stressed out in these areas, unless I was running the hell away and I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know where any tears were. Anywho, oh, there's one. That seed over there. That's this guy, the one that's floating in the air for some reason. This is actually almost something resembling a puzzle. Because you have to pull this guy, but as you can see, there was a tide of the awakening water. So you have to pull it, and then play a bit of chicken, run the hell away, and then wait a few seconds for it to recede, and then you can grab it. That is the extent of the puzzles here, honestly, unfortunately. Anywho, why don't we get up here? Like that. And we're already in pretty good shape in terms of collecting things. They really do seem to like to put them on those raised platforms rather than down on the ground. Oh no, how are we gonna get on that one? We're gonna push things. That's how we're gonna do it. And we only have 3 more. There's one over there, for instance. Ooh, that's almost also a puzzle. As you can see, it's in the tree. How do we get things out of trees? I don't know. I kind of see the logic of putting like one way the heck out there, so that you're almost kind of running a risk if you decide to leave it for last, and then you need to go grab it, and then you run far away and you use up all your time. But it's still not that far away, so whatever. And there, all that danger was alleviated. I do like this little section here with tons of searchlight dudes, because you gotta be kind of crafty, and they're constantly moving around, usually, mostly, sometimes. So you have to, like, dash a bit and then be crafty a bit. But again, it's lenient. It's very lenient. Not to say you won't screw up sometimes, but it is overall fairly lenient. And I'm seeing how little there is to say about these sections, honestly. Because most of the tiers don't have anything really interesting about them. They're not particularly well hidden. Sometimes there are nice dangers, sometimes there are not. But hey, we don't have that many left, so whatevs. And that takes care of the second trial. Oh, hell yeah. This is what a lot of people were waiting for. The double claw shots. A little bit of history, they are a progression of the hook shot, which was introduced in the Link to the Past, and then kind of made its big-time debut in Ocarina of Time. And then in Twilight Princess, the hook shot was changed to a claw shot, which allowed you to grip to walls, but also prevented you from hooking to basically anything that wasn't a target. And then later on in the game, you'd get a second claw shot, so you could go Spider-Man on the dungeon's ass and just go from wall to wall, and it was pretty badass. Here, you get both claw shots at once. So yep, you can latch onto targets, onto vines, and a couple other things that are very clearly placed there specifically so you can hook onto them. I will probably say hook just because that's what I naturally think to say, but it is latch or claw or something along those lines. Ooh, Dusk Relic. Strange, it's not actually in the Silent Realm, unlike most of them. Anyway, as you might expect, now that we have the claw shots, we have access to a variety of new areas, specifically one new area in here that will lead us to overall cool things. Also, totalmente ignoring everybody. Because you don't need to deal with the enemies at all. Look, you're in the sand, you're dead now, goodbye. And unfortunately, the claw shots do have a limited range. They are not an infinite supply of chain, which is unfortunate because probably one of the favorite like codes or cheats to activate is like an infinite length hook shot or claw shot, and basically you can go flying across the map, and it's really rad. But not here. Anyway, you may or may not recall from our first visit, there was in fact an area to be accessed via the claw shots over by these pits. By the way, claw shot and cacti. Also a chest, by the way. Such a dinky chest. Was it really worth it? Yes, it was always worth it. 20 rupees, it's always worth it. Anyway, you'll remember that we, when we went by these, like, currents of sand, there were a couple targets that would allow us to... Oh god, he's gonna drop something on me, isn't he? There were targets that allowed us to get up were we able to use them. And that would lead us to a higher elevation and to a new passage, notably right over there on the left. And that is our destination. Now you can also get to the new location from the very beginning section. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, no. From the very beginning section of the Lanayru Desert, where we first dropped down way back at the beginning, that also has a passageway to the same place. And that is, again, only accessible via the claw shots. Some doozy doodle up there. Oh, there's a wall in there. Yeah, the game is courteous also in giving you these mine carts to kind of drop down so that you don't have to whip out the claw shots every time. I can't recall if I ever use them, but they are appreciated. So yes, over here by this sandfall, we have... Oh, am I ignoring it briefly? Yes, I'm ignoring it briefly, because there's probably a prize way at the end of there. Because there's always a prize. There's no prize. I've been lied to. God. Curse you. Okay, so yes, whip at the claw shots, climb up there, and head to a new area. Sweetness. Yep, this is the Lanayru Caves. I don't know, aesthetically it's not very different, except it's a closed-in cavern, so I'm not particularly thrilled, but there is in fact a Goron, and I am okay with this. And here in this area you'll find bits of ancient Hylian writing, once again, since this is in fact the industrial capital of the area. That right there says desert, creatively enough. This one says ghost mine. This is a true statement. A capability stolen from the grappling hook in Wind Waker. You can steal prizes from enemies. And this last one says Sand Sea. Strange. Alright, Mr. Goron, what do you have to say? That's right, we're going to the Sand Sea. What does that entail? Well, I'll leave that to your imagination. It is pretty rad, though. And of course, the game forces you to talk to him by putting this key thing. I don't see why they felt they needed to force you to talk to him, except that he mentions the 3 dragons, which you probably could have assumed based on the fact that there's a water dragon. Anyway, let's blow things up before we leave. Oh, look, he talks about the dragon too. So we really didn't... Oh, that's actually relevant. A shield that is stronger than any other. That is the final shield, and it's not entirely necessary since the goddess shield is so good, but it is a pretty good thing to have. I'll address that later. But that is the end of the episode, and I will see you guys next time for the Lanayru Sand Sea.